Good evening, it's Quant Trade Edge, and today I wanted to go over a textbook example of a 2B buy that we just had a few days ago. Here is a schema for what a 2B buy should look like. It's a trap pattern popularized by Trader Vic. So here's where you have a low and you get a reaction from that low, and then on the bar that takes out the low, you note where that high is, and there can be variations of this, but in this situation you got one close below, a second close below, and then a close above, and then you had a bar that took out the high of this bar right here, which is the bar that broke the original low. That's the significance of it, and you buy above that level. Now, where I saw this recently was in NFLX. If you look at this as the previous, as the low, the original low, we had a reaction up above it, and then this bar broke that low. And we can note where the high is on this bar. It's 415.24. And we had, in this situation, we had two bars close below that area, but then this bar right here took out the high of that level. So that was 415.24, and you can see how at 10:35 in the morning, that's actually where we tested that high, and then it was right at the end of the day here at about 2:15 that we barely took it out for a couple of bars, 210, 215, 220 in that time frame. And then what that set up the next day was a gap up and a trend up, and this trend ended around European close, about 10:30 p.m. So what also makes this even better is you've really got two lows in that same range, and you have what looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then you had the break, and this trap is not just a 2B trap of this low, it's a 2B trap of the head and shoulders pattern. And so that gave it a lot of oomph on this particular day, where this day we closed at 413, opened at 418, and went as high as 437, all in the same day. Now, for this to be a head and shoulders failure pattern, we need to exceed the right shoulder. The right shoulder high is about 445.24, and after the one really strong day, we had a pullback and we're starting to recover from here. But again, the point of this video is to study this pattern, because it is a very textbook pattern of a 2B failure. So let's drill down on the key points again. Here's the previous low. Here's a bar that breaks the previous low, and what becomes significant on that bar is the high of that bar. We want to see when the high of that bar gets taken out. And that was here on August 22nd, and we got one really strong day after it, and then we had a pullback, and this pullback came with the market pulling back, so I would expect this to continue to rally from here, but this was the choice entry from the pattern. And let's go back and look at the pattern again. A low here, the bar that takes out that low, and you buy above that bar. Two closes in this situation, two closes below, and then another close above but not entering yet, and then an entry bar. And here, if we look at the slight variation, we had 1, 2, 3 closes below, and then a close above that also triggered the entry, and we got this move here on the 23rd. So just wanted to point that out. Study this pattern and look for it in other situations. Sometimes that late afternoon kick up above there is your key that the pattern is broken. And then in this situation, playing options on the daily time frame, the weekly options would have been very profitable, or using something as simple as an opening range break on the following day. Even if you missed the gap, this bar here was not taken out. And if you look at the size of this bar being about $3 and getting about a $17 move, that's about 5-to-1 risk to reward on just using a 5-minute opening range breakout of your opening bar the next day. And again, you would have had to have the situational awareness that this pattern broke the evening before, and therefore this gap is solid coming behind the pattern. So anyway, leave me any comments you have or questions you have about this pattern. I'm going to try to put out a couple of videos here. I do miss talking and seeing all the chatter, and notice that the community's been growing. And sorry that I've been neglecting the community for a while, but it's actually been growing in my absence. So that was a pleasant surprise. But I'm going to try to do my part and put up a few videos here and there when I see choice patterns.